You're listening to the Balanced Educator Podcast, episode number 3. Welcome to the Balanced Educator. We're your hosts, Kaylee
and Josiane from EduCalm. Our intention is to equip and empower you to feel more calm, balanced, and joyful in all aspects of your life.
In this episode, we're talking about the Fill Your Cup First experiment. We've created a free guided mindfulness practice so you can practice filling your cup first too. We'll be talking about it more towards the end of the episode and letting you know where you can find it. Let's get started. So, Josiane, what is this Fill Your Cup First experiment? What is this all about?
It is pretty simple, actually. It's just taking care of yourself first so that you can take care of your kiddos or anyone else around you after.
Okay, my immediate reaction when you said take care of yourself first was like, wait, I don't have time to take care of myself. Or like, that's the first thing that we think. Or like, that's selfish. I shouldn't be taking care of myself first. I should be taking care of everyone else first. And then if I have time left over, I will do the things that I need for myself. I think a lot of teachers think that way.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we definitely both thought that way for a long time, didn't we?
Oh, yeah. Until we realized that we had to make a shift because we were doing so much for others that it's like our tank was empty. We're like...
we were drained constantly.
Yeah.
So what does it mean to take care of yourself first? Tell me about that.
Well, when I first started this, when I started recognizing that I needed to take care of myself, I really hopped on the self-care Sunday train where I was
awesome.
Like, okay, on Sundays, I'm going to make sure that I do activities that help me fill my tank, help me feel good, help me to relax, because Sundays are often actually really stressful because it's like your last day of the weekend and you start getting back into the mode of thinking of what's coming up this next week.
Yes.
So I did things like starting to take a bath on Sunday, or making a really good meal, or taking time to spend with my husband off of like no TV, no internet, actually doing really good hangout sessions where we were enjoying each other's company. So it started with little things like that. It definitely was not a daily practice in the beginning. And even in those beginning times when I decided to set an hour aside for myself where I would have a bath and do a hair mask or a face mask, those sort of things, I kind of had these like feelings of guilt where I felt that I should be using my time more productively. So that was a big hurdle for me in the beginning.
Yeah, like you should be doing groceries, or you should be cleaning your house for the week, or you should be making your meals for the week, or something like that, right? The word should.
Oh, the word should.
Let's talk about that word.
Yeah, no kidding. So yeah, what kind of shoulds were you putting on yourself whenever you started to think of how you would use your time for yourself during those self-care moments that you decided, okay, I'm going to put this time aside. Even though you put the time aside, you're still shoulding all over yourself.
Yes, constantly. For me, it was like a flood of should be doing this, should be doing that. I should be taking time to prep for tomorrow. I should be doing this. You know, it's just, I could never fully enjoy it, actually. It took me a really long time to just stop shoulding.
Yeah, because you finally put that time aside for yourself and you don't even get to enjoy it because in your mind, you're feeling guilty.
Yeah.
So how did you get around that? How did you stop feeling guilty about putting that time aside for yourself?
I actually realized how much that word came up in my mind just because I was starting to take the time to notice my thoughts a little bit more. And I just noticed it was happening constantly. And I think it was brought to my attention from a podcast that I listened to that we do that as humans. And then I just started noticing whenever I would say it in my head and I would tell myself like, no, what I'm doing is exactly what I should be doing right now, you know?
Yes.
It's not, I should be doing something else. What I'm doing right now is perfect.
Yeah.
So that's kind of just where it started. And I just started noticing it more and more with time. So I was able to catch myself more and more with time.
Yeah.
And I'm still working on it. I still catch myself doing that all the time.
Yeah.
But it's definitely less.
Definitely a process. For myself, all of a sudden this light bulb went off, and I can't remember exactly why. Maybe it was a podcast I listened to or a conversation I had, but I realized that I was taking this time and setting it aside for myself, but I wasn't actually fully enjoying it. So then I was realizing that that was actually a waste of time, right?
Yeah.
If you set that time aside and that's the time you've marked in your calendar to take care of yourself, but you aren't fully present and enjoying that time, then you might as well actually be preparing for the week because you aren't actually taking that time to rest. So then I really decided to say, okay, when I set aside time for myself, I no longer am going to allow myself to believe the thoughts of guilt that were coming up. I would still get guilty thoughts or I should be doing this thoughts, but I chose to stop believing it. And anytime it would come up, I would say, be here now. This moment.
That's so nice. I love that.
And then it was a little moment of gratitude because then I would tell myself to be grateful for whatever I'm doing in this moment, whether that was eating a delicious meal or taking a bath or reading a book for fun, not because I was prepping for something or trying to learn something, but just, read a novel. How novel is that? Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
Hilarious.
Yeah. So that shift really, really helped. And like you said, I'm still doing that. It is a practice, and it's a practice of just noticing those thoughts that are coming up.
And how did you notice all of this affect you with time?
The awesome thing. So when I first started making this, I would say a weekly practice of self-care, of filling my cup. I started realizing, and I would often do it on Sundays, I started realizing that I slept better. And then I was more energized the next day. And when I was more energized the next day, I was actually more productive. So taking that time to myself was like, I think of it as almost like a slingshot that I'm pulling myself back during that self-care moment.
I love that.
And then once you let go of the slingshot, you've pulled yourself back, you've really, given yourself that time, you let go and it just shoots you forward. And
so you can get all kinds of things done at a much faster pace or whatever.
Yeah, that was the thing. I was more motivated. I was more in the moment, actually, during the times that I was working. So I actually crossed things off my list so much faster. And that was so not the intention, right?
Yeah.
And especially not the initial mindset, because you think taking time for yourself is losing time, right? But it turned out that it actually was somehow creating more time.
Creating more time, creating more energy.
Yeah.
For me, creating more motivation to do things, just things for myself, but also things for my work or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
I just felt so much more productive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So once you noticed that you started feeling more productive, did this stay as like a once a week kind of thing, or did you start increasing your self-care time or your fill your cup time?
That's when the fill the cup time became more and more time. I went from, for me, it was probably, once a week. And it was usually going outside on the weekend. I love nature. So, but then it turned into a couple times a week and then every day eventually.
Yeah.
And I still miss days though sometimes. I'm not perfect, but generally speaking, every day now I take a bit of time for myself, and the difference is insane. A lot of people say that it's selfish to take time for yourself, but I'm starting to see it more as something selfless.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, totally. This image comes to my mind all the time as a reminder when I recognize that I've stopped filling my cup as much as I normally do, or, you fall into old habits really fast. So at this point, I have a very dedicated self-care practice. It's worked into my schedule, and still I backslide and forget how important it is to take that time. So this image that always pops into my mind is an apple tree.
Yes.
I've told you about this a lot. And it's this idea that if I am the apple tree and I'm not being watered, I'm not able to grow, and therefore I'm not able to create delicious apples to share with my community, with my family, with my students. And who am I to deny them those apples? So if I'm not taking the time to water myself and to grow those roots nice and deep, to nourish the soil, then I'm not able to be the best version of myself. And so taking that time to water the tree,
yes,
is the best thing you can do for the people around you.
And I feel like that's the best analogy for teachers, just because of the apple is like the teacher symbol. So that's awesome.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay, so anytime for our listeners, anytime that you see an apple in your classroom, because I'm sure you've got apples somewhere, either it's a gift from a student or it's something on a poster, let that be your reminder to water your apple tree.
Yes. It's so important.
Yeah, no kidding. So one thing that I recognized when I started taking time for myself was that I started to look a little bit more closely at the ways I was spending my time, especially in the beginning, because I was deciding, okay, if I need to carve out time for myself, it means I'm not doing other things, right? Like in my mind, I was thinking I'm switching out time from this and giving it to that.
And is that what happened?
It is. And it meant that I had to really notice and be more mindful of how I was spending my time, right? So for you, Josiane, did you start doing that too? And like looking at, okay, if I'm going to say yes to self-care, what am I saying no to?
A big thing for me was actually starting to say no to people, because I would often get invited to things and I would always say yes. And then I was working all day, and then I was going to things in the evenings all the time and on the weekend, and it was too much. And I needed to implement this self-care practice. It was super important at that point. So I learned how to say no to people, which was not easy.
Yeah. It's so hard to say no to people. It's one thing to change your routines to cut out, places where you're wasting time, but to say no to friends that you care about or family that you care about, again, those feelings of guilt come up, right? Oh, that's hard.
Yes. But now I notice that it's about quality, not quantity. And now when I spend time with people that I love, I'm so much more present. I feel so much more there with them, having fun, I actually enjoy it now.
Yeah.
So it was the best decision to start saying no.
Yeah. My biggest fear with saying no to people was that I would insult them for saying no. And when I finally worked up the courage to say no, people didn't care. Like no one was mad at me.
No. They were probably relieved too, because they were thinking the same thing. Yeah. Like, I need some time to myself here.
Yeah. Or they just understood. And at first I always felt like I had to come up with an excuse. I had to over explain why I couldn't make it to an event or a function or a get together. And then I recognized that I didn't even need to give an excuse. I could just tell people, sorry, that doesn't work for me. I can't make it. I could add in I wish I could be there, which really I wish I could do everything.
Yeah, of course.
But I recognize that I can't. So, and people were so good.
Of course.
Totally not what I expected in my brain.
It's always like that, isn't it?
Yeah. So you almost have to just experiment it with it. Just be like, okay, I'm just going to try saying no. So the next time that there's an event that comes up that you don't feel super excited to go to, just experiment with saying no, see what happens. And you almost have to show yourself, like, do it once, show yourself that the world isn't going to end if you aren't at a function. And then it makes it a little bit easier to start saying more no when you don't feel lit up about spending your time in that way.
And where would you say that your level of guilt is nowadays, like today?
Well, now, because I've done this so much, it's like I've proven to my mind enough times, and my brain has seen the evidence of how much better I am as a person, as a friend, as a partner, as a business owner, as a teacher. I'm just so much better when I take the time for myself first. So I can honestly say that at this point, I almost never feel guilty.
98% of the time. Yeah.
Sometimes I would say that the spot where I still feel guilty sometimes is with friends or family, because I love my friends and family and I would love to be able to see them every single day. But it's just not possible. So I still feel a little bit of guilt there. But when it comes to filling my cup first on a daily basis and my extra special fill your cup first practices that I do on a weekly basis, I know that I perform better when I do those first. So it's almost like a non-negotiable. It's kind of like brushing your teeth.
It's part of the day now.
Yeah.
It's just part of the day. It's every day now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah. So what does your day kind of look like? Let's just run through a quick day in the life of Josiane of filling your cup. Like, are you taking hours to do this, or what's it like?
Not normally. Normally I wake up at whatever time, usually about 7, and I will do a meditation. Sometimes it's 5 minutes, sometimes it's 45 minutes. It kind of just depends on the day and how I'm feeling. I'll sometimes do a yoga practice, and sometimes I'll journal or I'll read, or sometimes it's really nice outside, so I'll take my dog for a run or for a walk. And then after that, I'll make myself some breakfast and get to work.
Love that. So you start your day literally filling your cup first.
Yes. And I encourage everyone to experiment with filling their cup in the morning, first thing.
Yeah.
It feels so good.
Yeah.
How about you?
My morning is pretty much the same as yours. Right now it's wintertime here. So in the summertime, I get outside more in the mornings. But right now, I do really well with a specific schedule so that I don't have to make any decisions in the morning. And I don't let my brain talk me out of the schedule I've set. So the night before, I decide what time I'm going to wake up at. I decide how long my yoga practice is going to be. So usually I do a 30-minute yoga practice. And then right after that, I do 30 minutes to an hour of meditation. I know that sounds probably crazy to some people. Like, you meditate for an hour. I did not start like that. Literally, some days it would be 1 minute. I could convince myself that I can take 1 minute, and that's where I started.
5 breaths sometimes.
Yeah. I like to tell people as an idea, especially the people that say, I don't have time to meditate in the morning. I say, right after you brush your teeth, take 10 deep breaths. That's it.
So you can attach it to a habit that's already there. Perfect.
Yeah. So it doesn't even feel, you already brush your teeth in the morning, so you're already there. You know you have that time. 10 deep breaths is not even a minute. You can do that.
Yeah.
It's an easy little starter.
I feel like this is a great opportunity to tell our audience about our freebie today.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
So we've recorded an introduction to mindfulness meditation. It's 10 minutes long, and it's a great way to start your morning. And we want to share it with our awesome listeners. So to get our free meditation, you can go to www.educalme.com. click on the Learn tab, and it'll bring you to our online school. Now, within our online school, we have a whole library of freebies. So if you go there, not only will you get this meditation, but you're also going to get all of the freebies that we have up to date, and you'll always have access to all the new stuff that we create on a regular basis for you guys. So that's fun.
Yeah.
So try it out, experiment with it, and give yourself a lot of compassion. This isn't something that's going to happen overnight. For us, it took months and years, and we're still tweaking the fill your cup first experiment. But try it out and see how it goes.
And let us know.
Yeah.
We want to hear about it.
Where can they find us on Instagram if they want to connect with us?
At Educalm, EDUCALME.
Awesome. We will see you guys next week on our next episode. Have a great day.
Bye.